Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Swipe up. 153 is the number of times I have done this show where I talk about posts that I found on Instagram that I found interesting enough to share. Felt like I wanted to talk about them, so I figured I might as well talk to you about them because I'm mostly alone and I'm just tired of talking to myself. It's always predictable conversations. But let's get into it, shall we, with a buddy of mine. He is an artist out in Florida. I wish he lived in a better state. But anyway, this man's name is Adriel Restrepo. He is a cool, psychedelic, kind of cartoonish. I mean, he does animation as well. But he has an illustrated kind of cartoony, bubbly, psychedelic style. And he just released some merch, which you can go check out over at monstermations.threadless.com. He has one design up, maybe multiple designs by the time this episode comes out. I'm not sure. But yeah, go support him if it's something you're into. If you're into smoking weed, he used to do a lot of blacklight art as well. If that keys you into the type of vibe he's putting out there. But yeah, go check it out. Monstermations.threadless.com. I just wanted to give him a shout out and hopefully help him sell some merch because everybody could use some financial support nowadays. Let's move on, though. Let's move on to just something that's hit the internet by storm. It's the Milk Crate Challenge, or the Crate Challenge. And there's the 3 videos that, that have been collected in this profile. But there are 3 videos that really did stand out to me. One of which, the first one, which is like, I've seen a lot of other videos where it's similar. I mean, this is the kind of this pyramid of like a 2-dimensional pyramid of milk crates, and you have to walk up the milk crates and walk down. I'm sure everybody's seen the memes and the videos all over the internet, usually taking place in more urban areas. It's a lot of black dudes doing this challenge. And brutal falls. I mean, it gets very wobbly at times because they're doing it on grass. Primarily, all of them are done on grass. But yeah, there's this one where it's like he's almost at the end and like things are flying out from under his feet. I've seen a few of them like that, which is kind of a crazy, dramatic end to a challenge. Then there's the one where this woman is doing it in heels. And it's just, and the cleanest out of all of the milk crate challenges, there is like little to no wobble the entire time as she's climbing up in these giant heels, like, and not like thick heels. They're like the pointy heels, and these are milk crates. These aren't like flat surfaced blocks. It's amazing. It's good. It's good. There's also one that I didn't find. It wasn't part of this collection, but it's one where a dude is doing the milk crate challenge while rolling a blunt, which is next level talent. But then the last video, right? There's this, obviously she's killing it. Once they're like halfway down, it's pretty much nothing. She makes it. But this last video is, some meathead dude doing it in a gym. First off, they didn't have the right amount of milk crates. Maybe they wanted to make it higher, like, we're going to bro out and do better. He's like, I'm going to eat this food out of this carton, and then when I get to the top, I'm going to curl these dumbbells, and then, I'm going to eat on my way down. We're going to up these other dudes. They're all doing it. They're all falling. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it while doing all this other stuff. Meanwhile, they're not doing it on the grass. Like, all of these challenges are on grass, which is a very unpredictable surface to be stacking crates on, let alone walking up crates and down crates. This is on a gym floor. Now, granted, it's probably carpet, so there might be some give to the carpet a little bit. I'm not sure. Maybe that's a little rubbery. I'm not sure what that material is that's on the bottom of the gym, but it's guaranteed 100% flat and leveled. So far less impressed with this last one, despite the fact that he's doing more. I just, that bro mentality of like, I'm gonna go one step up. But then you're doing it in a way that's potentially far easier to do it. Yeah. So anyway, it's a crazy. I don't understand. Like every once in a while, the internet's just a crazy thing because these like something will catch on and there'll be a trend and it'll be this insane trend for like a solid week or 2 weeks. And then it just disappears. Just disappears. And this one showed up out of nowhere, took the internet by storm. And by the time this episode comes out, people will be like, yeah, that was so long ago. But it is what it is. Yeah, that last dude's just the least impressive. But it's just like it's almost like a milk crate company hired a marketing team and they're like, dude, we'll just create a challenge and then we'll sell milk crates. Like we'll create a marketplace for it by creating this challenge, right? It's like ping pong. It's like the ping pong companies when they invented beer pong, Like beer pong is one of those things that just like came out of nowhere and became like the most trendy party game to the point where you can just buy beer pong kits, which is dumb. I mean, you just solo cups and a ping pong ball is all you need. But it's crazy how just trends can just out of nowhere, just like take off and just explode, and then they're gone. Some stick around, like beer pong is still a thing. It's still like it became part of the culture. Eventually, just I want to say like I watched a documentary at a film festival about beer pong. It really feels like I saw a documentary about that way back in the day at like the San Diego Film Festival or something like that. Anyway, let's move on. Speaking of films, this one being some trivia from Requiem for a Dream, which is a crazy movie. I highly recommend everybody. It's a bummer, but it's a great movie. Everybody should check out. But Darren Aronofsky, also amazing director. Kind like he's definitely one of the best directors working right now, and really experiments and pushes the boundaries of stuff. Which I should probably do a marathon of his work here pretty soon. But Requiem for a Dream, about two guys. Well, it's about addiction and the many forms of addiction and how that damages people in many forms of their life. I mean, it's got Jared Leto and Marlon Wayans are addicted to heroin, along with their girlfriend, who I forget. I'm blanking on her name. I'm horrible with names. But Jared Leto's mom in the movie gets addicted to diet pills. So you see her. It's like all these people who just get their lives destroyed by heroin. But Darren Aronofsky asked Jared Leto and Marlon Wayans to cut out sugar and sex for 30 days to understand intense craving, which for me, I've never cut out sex. I mean, as far as like the masturbation, I will I haven't been in a relationship in a long time. Also, I haven't had sex in a long time. But that release through masturbation is something that helps me maintain, right? I don't feel the cravings for it that I would if I didn't do it. I probably would go out more or try to go out more if I didn't masturbate, but I'm not looking for any kind of distraction in that way necessarily. The right person has to show up for me to be like, okay, I'm going to try and fit another human being into my life, which at this point I don't know if I'm ready for. But sugar I've tried keto multiple times, successfully at times, unsuccessfully at other times. But understanding that craving for, and also just like taking breaks from alcohol, there's not as bad a craving as sugar is. Like the cravings you get when you go into like a diet like keto, or when I did it, Atkins was, the early one. It's amazing how much you crave. Like you just like you need sugar in your mouth. Like that's all you can think about. It's insane. It's insane. And then once you finally have sugar, it's like you're like a child who just had sugar for the first time, and you're bouncing off the walls. And you have like like getting back into sugar after doing Atkins for, I don't know how long I did it for, but I did it for a good clip. Lost a ton of weight. Was in the best shape. I was working out every day. But yeah, I remember it was Halloween. Somebody brought in a bucket of candy, and whoo boy, I was on fire. But yeah, great. That's like a great way, going back to Requiem for a Dream. Darren Aronofsky it's the best idea to kind of give those actors the taste of what an extreme craving would be for, in this case, heroin. But yeah, it's a great movie. Great movie. It's tough, but it's great. It's a great one. A little over 4 years ago, I started The Many Faces. It's an ongoing series of abstract ink portraits. Each piece is improvised. Each piece is released daily. Start collecting now. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF. That stands for The Many Faces. And save yourself 25% when you use coupon code RTS. That stands for The Ray Taylor Show, because that's what you're listening to, and I love you. So I want you to save 25% when you use that coupon code. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF and use coupon code RTS to save 25% when you start collecting one of over 1,600 original ink paintings. By myself, I made them. Support me. I love you. Back to the show. Moving on to TikTok is using Shrek porn to fight an anti-abortion website. Just the headline alone made me bookmark this story. This one by Vice. But the idea is, what is happening in Texas, they passed anti-abortion laws where now you can't get an abortion after 6 weeks, which for most people don't know that they're pregnant till it's already past 6 weeks. But they also added a snitch, a way for Texans to snitch on other Texans, to where like somebody who drives an Uber, if you pick up somebody and take them to an abortion clinic, that Uber driver can be sued for up to like $10,000 or something like that. Anybody that has any knowledge of the abortion or helping or aiding in the abortion in any way can be sued for up to $10,000, I believe. So Texas set up a website where citizens can snitch on other citizens to get them in trouble, because in Texas, it's branded as freedom, but it's really like you could go to prison for so many things in Texas for the most ridiculous shit. Like you have like very little freedoms in Texas. Very few. I mean, they love the guns and they think that's the freedom. And they think these anti-mask, anti-vaccination mandates that their mayor, their governor is doing are them like maintaining their freedom. But it's really everything that they think is freedom is putting other people in that state in cages or dying. Dying from COVID, dying from bullets, or having their life taken away and squandered in a cage somewhere. It's a very unfree state to live. And this website is being bombarded because the website has the ability for people who are making these claims to upload evidence upload video, upload pictures, whatever evidence you have of this person breaking the law, aiding in an abortion, then, you can upload all that stuff. So you can be the number one snitch for this website, which I'm sure there's tons of Karens out in Texas that that's going to be their entire identity. They're going to be these anti-abortion snitches. And it's being bombarded with people who have level heads with Shrek porn, which is hilarious. I never understood why people or how people could get into animated porn. Right? I kind of understand like the hentai stuff because it looks, it's kind of reality based on some level. But like Shrek porn or like the porn that had, like, you see ads for it all the time. I see ads for it all the time, like Family Guy porn or Simpsons porn. Like, that does nothing for me. Like, there is nothing sexual about a lot of the animated shows that you find porn out there. But somebody's into it, and at least it has this use. Maybe Shrek porn's ultimate use was to be this spam that is currently filling up these snitch websites in Texas. But yeah, it's an interesting story. Interesting way younger people are utilizing the internet to protest stupidity, to protest laws that are designed to inhibit human freedoms. But yeah, it is what it is. And they'll say it's to protect kids, but they don't give a shit about kids. They don't give a shit. The fact that they're trying to get them catch COVID is like doing everything actively. That's not a protection of kids. The fact that there's no gun control when like there's mass shootings and kids are dying from bullets shot by guns because everybody can have them. That's not at all trying to protect kids. You just want to use that as an excuse to control women because you can't. It's got to be. It's stupid. It's so stupid. So congratulations to everybody doing that over there. That's an awesome protest. And last but not least, there's a moment in the Final Purge, the most recent Purge movie, where all the hate groups who had been propped up and given so much freedom to kill over the franchise, they end up destroying America, and they're even fighting against the NFFA, which is the government that was put in place that instated the purge and then reinstated the purge for the Final Purge. And it's a situation where the snake's eating its own tail, right? The NFFA in the Final Purge is being destroyed by all the hate groups that they helped to prop up and gave free reign to kill people, kill all the poor brown people over the years during the purge. And similarly, Trump, during his rally in Alabama, in Cullman, Alabama, he threw out the idea, the recommendation to his herds of sheep to get the vaccine. He takes it and it's good, right? In the least, like the most throwaway, hey, maybe stop dying and get this vaccine, that he is the reason why it got pushed through so fast. It's the Trump vaccine, and now they're FDA. One of them's FDA approved, so there's really far fewer excuses by day for anybody not to get it. But Trump throws that out. And, you're seeing that thing that's from the Final Purge where he got booed. His people booed him. It's not about him anymore. He emboldened their beliefs in conspiracy. He emboldened their love of hate. He emboldened their violent nature to be outspoken and violent in public. So now you're seeing grown adults throwing childlike temper tantrums but with adult bodies. So where a 2-year-old can't necessarily pick heavy shit up and throw it at people, a 2-year-old can't necessarily swing his fists and give somebody a concussion, but an adult can. And these grown adults are acting like spoiled children, throwing major tantrums everywhere as if they have the right more so than any other human to get what they want. And everybody else should just sit back and appreciate their freedoms, their personal freedoms, while we all suffer. And it's that point where the snake eats its own tail. These hate groups that Trump brought together, his base, the neo-Nazis, the KKK, the white supremacists, people that love Putin, like just every aspect of a hate group, anti-Semitics, the everything. All these hate groups, and then all the lazy educated people, all the people that quote unquote study conspiracy theories, that say that they're anti like child abuse, yet like Trump himself has talked about how he would love to have sex with his own daughter. You know, I don't know how many, but probably a large percentage of Republicans are Catholics, and the Catholic Church has been exposed multiple times for not only having pedophiles working for them, but actually protecting pedophiles, moving them to other churches when they get found out so that nothing happens. Like, they do a lot to protect child endangerment, probably child trafficking, all the horrible things that happen to children. They're not going after the Catholic Church. They're not going after Trump. They're not even going after the politicians that are being accused of it. They're not going after even the actors that are being like they need to believe that this group is what's in charge of all these bad things. And despite all the fact that like the people they surround themselves are being caught doing the thing, it's not enough to sway them. And it's not enough for their former leader, their Jesus, the guy that's on the majority of their flags, tells them to get a vaccine. They're not going to do it. They're going to boo him. So it's I mean, seeing the infighting within the Conservative Party is great, you know? I mean, the sad thing is that they're so mindless, I don't think it will necessarily sway them from voting Republican. You know, maybe it will, but hopefully it doesn't in California, where they're trying to get a Republican in office. But I think it's only going to be for a year. I think the actual election is next year. I could be wrong, but it seems like I read that somewhere. But yeah, anyway, the Trump fans are booing Trump because he tells them to get a vaccine. You know, whatever. It's a weird thing that like I don't know. It wasn't like everybody. It wasn't like a raucous boo. It wasn't. It was just a group. You know, some of them. I'm sure a lot of them were like, "What?" They probably justify it by like, "Oh, he's been paid to say that," or he's just saying that because. Like, he doesn't really mean it because he didn't really sound like he meant it. It was very much a throwaway. Hey, get a vaccine. I took it. It's great. Which he, you know, if he said that about the livestock dewormer that everybody's taking, I'm sure that would be like, that's what they want to hear. So if he said that, there would have been cheers and like poison control would have been booked for another week. But yeah, let's do some shout outs and get out of here, shall we? Shout out to Adriel Restrepo. Go check out monstermations.threadless.com. Shout out to sport_Maxwell. Shout out /film and shout out Vice News. But most importantly, shout out to you. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!